Welcome to the Globe Roof Inspection Program Full Roof Inspection Training video. The intention of this video is to teach our GRIs or grip roof inspectors exactly how to handle a full roof inspection. We'll be taking you from accepting the assignment all the way through completing your grip roof inspection. Meet Grip Inspector Brian. Brian's going about his day when he receives an alert via email from Grip that he has a new assignment. Brian happened to check it on his phone. Once he gets that alert, we expect you to log into the gripinspections.com website, as Brian's doing right now. Once there, you'll head to the upper right-hand corner to log in. Upon logging into the Grip system, you'll first get stopped. We're going to take you to what we call our GRI dashboard. This dashboard will provide our GRIs all the resources they need to perform an inspection, whether it be training videos such as this one, or any documents that you might need to print out to handle the inspection. We're going to go back to this dashboard and print out some items in just a little bit. First, we want to take you into the Grip system. So Brian will access the Grip system, which will then take him to his own personal alerts page. This page is for Brian's eyes only. It will give him the options of new inspections, aging inspections, and pretty much it's a tube for everything that's happening in his grip world. Brian's going to click on the grip number, run his cursor over it, which gives him a yellow box that shows him the town the inspection is taking place in. If Brian believes he can handle the assignment in 5 to 7 days, he'll click on that pending status and then change it to accepted. At this point, you also have the option to reject the assignment if you believe you can't handle it in our 5 to 7 day turnaround time. But Brian can handle it, so he's going to hit accepted and then update inspection status. Upon hitting this button, two things happen. First, you're alerting Grip that you can indeed handle the assignment. It also releases all the information to you on the actual inspection. You'll now have the homeowner's name, address, phone number, and all the info you need to set the assignment up. By clicking on the Grip number, you're taken to the inspection details page. We at Grip recommend that our GRIs print this out for each individual inspection you do. So Brian's going to print this out so he has it with him and he knows exactly what's going to happen with this specific inspection. The special instructions tell Brian on this one that he'll be looking for any wind damage on the roof. Now we expect Brian to look at everything on the roof, but he'll be paying attention mostly to wind damage. Back at that dashboard page is where you'll find these documents. The first one, and probably our most important, is our on-site inspection notification. This letter will be left behind with the homeowner on every inspection you do. Brian is now printing out what we call the Grip Field Report. It's pretty much a written out version of our online reporting system that you'll be heading back to and creating your report later. But if you take this out with you on the road and circle and check things off as you go, it's going to make things a lot easier when you build a report. Brian's now printing out his inspection materials checklist. This tells Brian everything he needs to bring with him as far as materials go to complete his inspection. And we'll go into that a little bit later on as well. Finally, Brian's printing out his wind inspection checklist. This checklist was designed by Grip to give Brian everything he needs when completing a specific wind inspection. As long as while he's out there on the roof, Brian checks off everything he needs to do on that checklist, it'll give him everything he needs. So Brian's going to review the checklist. Now it's time to load up our materials bag. Now that Brian's printed out all of his Grip documents, it's time for him to pack up his inspection materials. He's going to start with a digital camera, which is probably the most important tool you need when doing a roof inspection. He's making sure he has a clean digital card and a charged battery. You'll need a digital camera for a Grip full roof inspection, a Ladder Assist, and Ladder Assist Plus, so it's probably the most important tool we need you to take with you. So important that Grip recommends taking a disposable as a backup as well. Brian's going to pack up his measuring tape. This will be needed to measure every slope, rake, eave of the roof. Next, Brian will pack up his Grip ID badge, which is mandatory for all inspectors. If you need one, please contact the Grip office. We'll be happy to get you one. Next, he's going to pack up his pitch gauge. He's also going to throw in there some writing materials. As I mentioned, we will ask you to measure the roof. You'll be diagramming it as well, so make sure you have some pens, pencils, blank paper, and items you'll need to draw. Next, Brian's going to clip on his Hague shingle gauges to determine the thickness of the shingle. He's also going to throw some chalk in his bag as well. Chalk is necessary for hail inspections, but recommended on all inspections. It's a great tool to point out wind and other damages you may find. You could circle it with chalk and then take a photo of it. Brian's also going to make sure he has all the proper documents: the on-site roof inspection, the field inspection report, and finally the wind checklist to make sure he has everything he needs while out there. Brian also prefers to use cougar paws or roof shoes. So Brian's going to make sure he brings those with him. These are shoes designed specifically to make you feel a little bit more comfortable and grip the shingle, making it a little safer to walk up on the roof. Finally, we have a materials checklist that Brian's going to go through to make sure he takes with him everything he needs. Once Brian's accepted the assignment, we expect him to call the homeowner within a day to set the appointment. He should also verify that it has the correct address. Brian was fortunate enough to get the homeowner on the phone with his first phone call, and he picked Tuesday between 12 and 2. And here we are with Brian arriving to the home. He's ready to perform his inspection. The first thing we expect our GRIs to do is let the homeowner know that they're there. So Brian's going to head up to the door, give a little knock, explain to the homeowner exactly what he's there to do, and most importantly, he's going to leave behind our on-site notification letter. This gives the homeowner a little bit more detail about what GRIP's purposes are. If the homeowner doesn't answer the door, feel free to either leave it in the door or the mailbox. As you can see, this homeowner is comfortable with the inspection, so Brian is going to get going. He'll head back to the truck and get himself situated to perform the inspection. This means putting on his cougar paws or his roof shoes, putting on his tool belt, getting his tape measure, and again getting that camera out and ready to shoot. The first photo Brian's going to take is the risk photo. This is very important as it needs to be uploaded in every report we do, whether it be a full inspection, ladder assist, or ladder assist plus. If you have the opportunity to get the insured's address in the photo as well, that would be ideal for us. What Brian's doing now is he's doing two things actually. He's going to walk around the perimeter of the home, take some photos of any damages or non-damages he finds to build the story of what's happening with this roof. He'll shoot fascias, soffits, and gutters just to get an idea of what's happening before he actually gets up on the roof. What Brian's also doing is looking for proper areas where he can set the ladder to access the roof. As you'll see here, there's a leader that has a little bit of a ding in it, a little bend. It looks to be mechanical, and therefore he's going to get a photo to include it in the report. Basic rule of thumb when performing a GRIP inspection: if you take a photo of something, upload it in the report. GRIP has batch uploading, which is going to make uploading your photos very quick and painless. So there's no reason to withhold any of these photos from us. If you take it, send it over to us. We'd like to see it. If we at GRIP feel it doesn't pertain to the claim, we'll remove it as necessary. And did you notice that? In the left-hand corner of your screen, you may have seen a shed roof. We expect GRIs to inspect all roofs on the property. It should be included in the diagram, and the square footage of these items will be included in the total square footage of the inspection. So any shed, garage, detached, attached, basically any roof on the property, we expect our GRIs to inspect. For now though, Brian will continue with his perimeter inspection, getting photos of things we see and photographing areas where materials may be missing. In this example, Brian's photographing some damaged gutter. Please note that we're roof inspectors. We are not there to inspect the siding, we're not there to measure it or give our opinion on it. But providing our customer with photos of what's happening completes the story and helps them out. The benefit of giving more information to our customer is our customer is giving more inspections to us. If Brian were out here looking at a hail claim, the gutters are a great indication of if hail fell on this home. Running his fingers up against the leader will show any indentations or dents he may have found. This dent, that might have just happened during installation. So far, we don't see any hail up on this roof. We're here to look at wind, but we're going to look at the entire roof and make an assessment based on our professional roofing opinion. Now that Brian's walked the perimeter, he's taking a look around, taking photos he needs, he'll take a shot of that shed. Now that we did that, let's get up on the roof and do an inspection. Once our GRI has done a perimeter inspection and decided exactly where he's going to set the ladder, it's time to remove the ladder and get up on the roof. Unfortunately, with this roof, all slopes cannot be accessed from one ladder set. so our GRI will have to move the ladder around a few times to get up on every slope and take photos of every portion of the roof that he sees. You may notice that as Brian unties the ladder from the truck, he's putting that bungee right in his pocket. He's going to use that later off to help tie down the ladder. When it comes to a grip inspection, safety is key. Make sure you know your surroundings as you're removing the ladder for any other people, dogs, pets, kids, or anything else that may be present during a roof inspection. Brian's going to access the front of the home first, so he's setting the ladder directly on the gutter. He will then move the rungs to be at least 3 feet above the gutter line as per OSHA regulations. To ensure that your ladder is still there when you want to get back down, we recommend tying off. Brian's going to remove that bungee and go through the rungs and tie directly onto the gutter. Every time our GRI accesses a roof slope for the first time, there are a few tasks he must perform. The safest place is usually from the ladder to get our first task, which is determining the pitch of the roof. Brian will set a pitch gauge on the shingles and photograph exactly what the angle is. Next, Brian will use a shingle gauge to determine the thickness of the shingle. He'll get a photo of this as well. Then Brian will lift the first course of shingles to determine if there is ice and water shield or drip edge. He'll photograph this as well. Finally, Brian will perform a brittle test, which is important for determining the repairability of a roof. However, if it's too cold, you should not attempt this as the shingles will likely become damaged. It's now time to start photographing the roof. We expect our GRIs to take photos of the overview of the roof to show general condition, as well as close-ups of any damage you may find. Basically, if it's on the roof, we want photos of it. You'll see that Brian in this situation has taken some overall shots of the front slope of the roof. He's now taking some close-ups to show damage. Once he's finished with the front slope, it's time to start inspecting the rest of the roof. Brian has a tough task right here. He has a nice car that's right in the way, so as you'll see, he's safely making sure that the ladder fits between the car and fence. It's also got some wires up above to be careful of. It's time to access the next roof and start inspecting. Brian again will safely set the ladder in an area where he feels comfortable accessing the roof from. Just from appearance, this roof seems to be a little more steep than the last one, so Brian's going to make sure he's careful as he walks it. Those cougar paws he has on is going to make it a little easier for him. Again, Brian's taking photos of damage that he sees and overall condition of the roof. As we've stated before, the digital camera is probably your most important tool. Take photos, take a lot of them, and upload everything you find. Your photos will help Grip tell the story of what's happening on the roof. Brian's also taking a look at some of the shingles to see if there's any seal failure that happens to be in that certain area, but as he moves down the roof, the shingles seem to be in a bit better condition. We at Grip need our GRIs to measure every portion of the roof. We need ridge measurements, ridge to eave measurements, any rakes, gutters. Basically, if it's on the roof, we need to measure it. So as you'll see here, Brian is running his tape along the ridge. And he'll be documenting all of these measurements on his field inspection report. Grip asks our GRIs to draw a digital diagram for our customers. So what Brian will do is hand draw a diagram here and later convert it when he uploads the roof inspection report through the Grip system. As you may have noticed already, on this rear lower portion of the roof, there are two skylights located in the middle of the roof. Brian's going to start by taking overall photos to show the general condition of the roof. He's also going to take some photos of that skylight to show exactly where they're located. Moving in a little closer, he will now inspect the skylight flashings for any possible leak potentials. He's going to make sure that the flashing is set properly and that the shingles are properly secured over the flashing. As you can see, our inspector is doing a very thorough job of taking a look around all portions of the skylight to make sure there are no leak potentials. Along with skylights, all roof penetrations must be photographed and inspected. Looks like Brian found a dent on top of this vent, and he'd like to document it. He also found some mechanical damage here on the shingles, which he'll photograph as well. On this particular inspection, our GRI was sent out to look for wind damage, but as you can see, he's not just documenting any wind damage. A grip roof inspector's job is to provide our customer with everything happening on the roof, whether it be mechanical damages, loose nails, nail pops, or any other damage you might find. It's very important that you photograph and document. Sure enough, we did find some wind. It seems there were a couple of shingles in the rear portion of the roof that have blown off due to wind damage. In the same area, we see some footfall. We also see some top nailing. Our grip inspector is chalking these areas off so that they'll show up a little easier within the photographs. Looks like he also found some seal failure as well. Once he has his markings, Brian will take the photographs, again using his finger to show exactly where the nail pops happen. And these photos will all be uploaded into the grip inspection report. Now that the rear lower roof has been inspected, it's time to inspect the final portion of our roof, which is the upper main roof. It's actually kind of hard to access. Brian couldn't get up there just by jumping. So what he's doing here is performing a proper ladder pull-up. We expect our grip inspectors to carry a variety of ladders with them as much as possible. Brian in this case had another ladder in the truck. He went out and safely brought it up the first ladder. He will now use this ladder to help access the upper main roof. You'll see that Brian's making sure that the ladder is properly secured and footed before he climbs to access the upper main. As with every time we access a new slope, Brian will start his routine again. It's a new slope that actually has different shingles on it, so he will use his pitch gauge. He'll take a photograph of the steepness of this portion of the roof. He'll also take out his shingle gauge. He'll take a layer photo, determine if there's ice and water, and how many layers there are, as he has on every other slope that he's already inspected. When inspecting a hail claim, most insurance companies determine repairs versus replacement based on a 10 by 10 test square of the most affected slope. We at GRIP encourage our inspectors to perform test squares on every slope of the roof to show us exactly how much hail damage there may or may not be. In this situation, it seems that our inspector Brian has found some hail. What you'll find is he currently is marking out a 10 foot by 10 foot square. He'll start by chalking out the square, and he'll continue by circling any hail marks he may have found within that square. It is very important that if you mark out a 10 by 10, you circle every hail hit you find. This will help our customer with their determination on this specific claim. Looks like Brian found a lot of hail within this 10x10. He's getting good circle marks of all of them. It may seem insignificant, but it's actually pretty important that Brian is using a lighter shade of chalk, as this will show up much better in the photos he takes. Once you've marked off your 10x10 and you've circled all your hail tests, it's time to count them up and mark exactly how many tests are found. You'll see that Brian's marking a big E, showing that this is the eastern slope of the roof. He's also found 18 plus hits within this 10x10. Now that the chalking task is completed, time to start photographing. As you'll notice, Brian has taken an overall shot to get the entire 10x10 within his photo. He's now going up and taking some close-up shots of actual hail damage. Putting his finger in the frame is actually helpful. It shows the size of the hail hit, as well as pointing out and giving direct attention to where the hail has fallen. We are almost complete with this grip roof inspection. Brian's on the upper main portion of the roof, and now he's going to take some time to photograph all of the roof penetrations. This includes the pipe jack, power vents, chimney and chimney flashings, and the ridge vent. Brian's also going to be measuring the front portion of the roof that he was unable to access when he first started the inspection. This completes our clockwise full-service roof inspection. When Grip is hired to perform a full roof inspection, they're not only hired to inspect the entire main roof, but all roofs on the property as well. In this instance, this homeowner has a detached shed. Our inspector, Brian, will set his ladder and inspect this roof as well. Even though this is a smaller and possibly undamaged roof, our inspector Brian will perform all of the utilities needed as he did on the main roof, including removing the shingles to look for drip edge and ice and water and taking a shot, as well as how many layers are on the roof. Our inspector will take overall photographs of the general condition of the roof, as well as close-ups of any possible damages or non-damages he may or may not find. The GRI is also expected to measure the roof, as this roof will be included in our diagram as well. Once all roofs on the property have been fully inspected, the job is done. Now that the on-roof portion of our inspection has been completed, our GRI has a few more steps to complete before leaving the property. The first is checking the camera to make sure the photos are clear, not blurry, and have everything he needs. Secondly, our inspector will hand sketch a diagram, including the measurements, just to make it a little easier when he converts it digitally later on back at the office. Once our inspector feels he has everything he needs on the property, the last and final step will be to head on into his phone and give a call over to the Grip office just to let us know that the inspection went okay. This is not necessary on any inspection, but we encourage you to give us a call on the first few. It looks like our on-site inspection is complete. It's time to head on back to the office to upload our Grip report. When performing a ladder assist for Grip, your responsibilities are simple. You are to coordinate a meeting time with the adjuster and simply supply and foot a ladder. The adjuster will meet you on site and perform the inspection themselves. It is very possible when you meet the adjuster, they may not want to access the roof for a number of reasons, if they don't feel comfortable or they just want your expertise. This is why it's important that you provide all of the tools you normally carry with you during a roof inspection with you on a ladder assist, just in case it turns into one. If the adjuster mentions that he would like to turn it into a ladder assist plus or full service inspection, you are to call the grip office to verify these changes. While performing a ladder assist plus, you must take your digital camera with you. We ask you to upload 2 photos into the report, a front of the home risk photo, as well as a photo of the adjuster on the roof performing his own inspection. Here's our GRI taking a photo of the adjuster inspecting now. When performing a Ladder Assist Plus, your responsibilities are similar to that of a full-service roof inspection. The difference is you will provide a ladder, hand draw a diagram and measurements, and give the adjuster a verbal overview of your findings. You will not have to fill out a full report when the inspection's all finished. The grip customer adjuster will hand over his camera for you to go up and take photos with. The customer adjuster will remain on the ground and may point out areas for you to photograph. They also may provide certain areas of concern. However, you are to perform an exterior roof inspection just as you would a grip full-service roof inspection. As you can see, our GRI Brian is performing the same responsibilities he does during a normal full-service roof inspection. He's taking overall photos as well as close-ups. He will also determine if there's drip edge, ice and water shield. He will determine the pitch, the thickness of the shingles, as well as how many layers are on the roof. Another responsibility during a Ladder Assist Plus is to still measure the roof. However, instead of this time handing over a digital diagram via the grip report, you will simply sketch one out and hand it to the adjuster on site. The nice part about a Grip Ladder Assist Plus is there is no report to upload when the inspection is complete. Once our GRI Brian has all the information he needs, he'll head down the ladder and freely discuss his findings with the insurance adjuster on site. While here, we'd like you to bring your digital camera as well. Should the adjuster turn this into a full-service roof inspection, you'll need all the tools necessary to perform one. We also need you to take 2 photos during the Ladder Assist Plus to upload into a quick report for invoicing purposes later on. Once the Ladder Assist Plus is complete, your responsibilities are complete, and you can leave the property.